Okay, so first thing, kind of a little bit of a silly question, but hypothetically, let's say you were trapped in the middle of nowhere and you were being stalked by a rogue lion. You could pick two past co-stars to be in that car with you. Who do you pick to give yourself the best chance of surviving the situation?
I definitely pick Kate Winslet because she's super smart, and we survived the plane crash in the movie. And then I would pick Michael Fassbender because he has magic.
I would believe it.
I mean,
you can tell me that and I'll roll with it.
Yeah. Doesn't he have magnets or something? Anyway.
I feel like that is a team that I would believe in. So solid choices right there. So I was reading a little bit in the production notes about how you and Will like to pick projects that challenge and stretch you. So going into Beast, what's one challenge you circled that you were really excited to tackle for the first time? But then also, what's a challenge that you weren't expecting that came up during production?
The big challenge was, this is a big, fantastical story. Lions don't attack human beings, and it's very rare for something like this to happen. So we wanted to inject some reality into it. And that was obviously a marriage between the acting and the filmmaking, the style, the production, and everything. But at the same time, we wanted to have a story that you cared about in the midst of this. And this is a family dynamic that happens. So all of these little ingredients in one pot to try and make this a film that people can go as a family and go, let's go get thrilled. I think the biggest challenge I found while I was there is just, we were in the middle of nowhere, like nowhere. And, we didn't have any sort of fancy hotels or anything like that. And that was just different, we're making a film about surviving in the middle of nowhere, and we were surviving in the middle of nowhere.
That's just making me think of a general random question I like to ask. But what is one thing that you can't be on set without? Whether, I don't know, it's your sides or water bottles, something like that.
When I'm on set, I like my sides in my pocket. Like pretty much every film you've ever seen me in, except for ones where I have no pants on, I have sides in the pockets.
That makes sense. I have to talk about the VFX on this one, because you've obviously worked on your fair share of films with heavy VFX in it, but this seems like a pretty unique challenge to me. So what is something about the VFX work and how you have to interact with it while making Beast that you had never experienced even in all your previous VFX heavy films?
Just the marriage of the physicality. So, in this, we fight a lion, but obviously we're not. We're fighting a stunt performer with a mask on and stuff. And the marriage between what the animators need to see and feel and what you actually have to do in order to put that together was really different from what I've done before. Typically, you're in a spaceship and then you look out the window and there's a planet there. But this was, you are interacting, and parts of me ended up being animated as well in order to have that seamless join. It's incredible.
Given all the unique challenges you encounter working with that kind of process, what's something you learned about working with VFX that you wish you could go back and tell, first VFX heavy film you to have a tip or trick in your back pocket?
Well, I mean, there are some, I don't want to name names. There's this one film that I did where my feet were sort of floating across the ground and it didn't look real. So I would suggest that they speak to these incredible guys at the frame store who killed it.
This is really something else. There's a lot of shots in here that impressed me. The one that I can't get over, though, is Sharlto hugging the lion.
Yeah.
I analyzed that frame a little too much, and it is incredibly impressive stuff.
Very well done.
So I have to sneak in my Marvel question.
Go on.
I know it's difficult to talk about this stuff, but hopefully this is a fair way to get at it. So, given how many times you've played Heimdall at this point, what is a quality of his that you've yet to tap into that you think could be very exciting now that we know he is in Valhalla? Like a particular quality of his there that could be exciting to tap into for the first time?
I mean, look, pretty much his whole sort of arsenal of gifts have been tapped into one way or another. He's all-seeing, but he's quite a warrior. We've seen him as a warrior as well. And he has an immortality around him, and that'd be something that we haven't really explored. So that I think may be interesting, hey, listen, the Marvel world is ever expanding. You just never know.
I just want more of you in that role, so I'll
Oh,
take
really?
whatever I can get. Apologies in advance. This is a very big question to end on, and a lot of this news that sparked this question is very, very fresh. But as an actor who is also heavily into producing as well, what are some of your goals for the films that you want to act in and produce, and how have those goals changed given the current landscape in the industry and how it's changing, specifically with how it seems to, not just full force embracing streaming right now, but shifting back to valuing both streaming and theatrical releases?
Yeah, I think that, as a producerial sort of actor, I feel it's important that, we kind of move with the trends, but at the same time, let's honor how we got here. I'm a big fan and advocate for the theater, and, I want to make pictures that sort of live in that space. But streaming obviously offers a convenience, it's a trend, and I think it actually offers the industry an alternative to the big silver screen, which alternatives are good. And from a producer's perspective, that's like twice the playing field, right? I'd like to direct, though. That's where I'm going to head, And for myself, I find that directing is the sweetest spot on the set. I've never directed myself as an actor. I think that would be a goal for me, for sure.